The false card you have your past is the Four of Swords. So obviously this man's, or this statue I should say, he's lying down, he's resting, lots of problems hanging over him with all these swords, but he's just exhausted, he's just lying there. So I think that's how you felt at this time. It's like, I'm so tired, I can't do anymore. And I'm getting this feeling of trying. It's like, I've tried, I just can't do this anymore. I give up, that's it. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting around this. Now, it feels like what you were trying to do, I don't know if I can explain this properly, I'll try my best. I'm getting two parties here, or two people here, and it's kind of like you're in the middle of these two, and you were doing the right thing, and you're doing the right thing for both of these people. One of them you had more concern over, one of them you loved more, or you were more worried about. So it's almost like you had to try and convince them to get together for some reason. You wanted someone to speak to someone, or talk to someone, or get together, and you're trying and trying and trying. That's what I'm seeing. And this was the right thing for you to do, absolutely was. But someone refused, or they just wouldn't do what you wanted or what you needed them to do, and you just gave up. You knew you were right, but you just couldn't do anything in the end. You tried and you tried. This might actually be a situation where there's family here. It might be a child and a parent. Maybe you're trying to get a parent to see a child, or a child to see a parent. Something like that. It might not be, but it feels like that kind of a situation, that you were trying and trying and you gave up. And it feels really selfless, actually. You weren't doing this for yourself. You're doing it for someone else. But it made no difference. Didn't matter what you said, what happened. You just had to give up in the end. And it was really, really exhausting. If this is you, if you're really stressed about this, if you're like, oh, I just wish this would happen, but I can't. You tried your best, just know that. That's all you can do. You can't force people to do things. All you can do is try your best. It's up to them ultimately. But, if you're at the point of exhaustion, you just can't do anymore. And I think that's where you were at this time. There's a little bit of deja vu here as well, I think. Not for me, but for you, because I'm getting this, oh, not again. I've been through this before and it's happening again. So it might be that you've tried this in the past and you thought it was okay, and now you have to try again and it's not working again. Or I don't know, or maybe you're in the same situation with someone else. I don't know, but I'm getting that again. So it's like a double exhaustion kind of thing. Just a little warning that I'm seeing here. If you're trying to engage with this person who's not cooperating, I'm just getting this feeling that maybe they're not quite telling you everything, the whole truth about a particular thing, or maybe a few things. This is what I'm getting. I'm getting things being cancelled, dates, things like that, times, lots of excuses around, oh, I can't be here at this time because of this or that, some ridiculous excuse. It seems ridiculous to me. Unbelievable excuse, and lots of excuses. Oh, I've got to go here at this time, and it's something crazy and over the top, and you're like, well, that doesn't sound right. If it doesn't sound right, it's not right. It doesn't sound right to you. This is what I'm seeing, or it didn't at this time, and that means it's not. It feels like they're trying to get away with something, and it feels like they're trying to get excuses, or make excuses, I should say, so that they can get away with something. So just watch out for that with them. Just watch out for that. So you might have a rest, and you might want to keep on engaging with this person because you do feel really strongly about whatever this is. I can see that. If you decide to do that, watch out, because there's a bit of dishonesty here. There's excuse making, there's making up things, there's, oh, I can't be here at this time because of this, and it's not true. Some of what they're saying is true, some of their excuses are not true. So that's what I have to tell you about that. If it was me, I don't want to tell you what to do, but if it was me, I wouldn't keep on engaging with them. Because you don't know where you are with someone who isn't being honest with you. And I think you'll just end up being so exhausted in the end. You're already exhausted, which is what I'm seeing on this card. Okay, so the next card you have your past judgment. Okay, so I just want to say this before I go on. I'm getting lots of really, really clear things here. Very, very straightforward, very clear. So this is probably going to be quite a specific reading, because when I see these super clear things, very straightforward things, it's usually because someone needs to hear something quite urgently. They need to hear a message. So it's going to be quite specific, I think. That's when that happens, that's why that is. And I'm getting all jumbled up because I'm getting very, very strong messages here. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So, okay, so yeah, here's this person again I'm seeing here in the judgment card. There's something they're not being honest about. And I think you've got some idea that they're not, because when they've got excuses, when this person has all these different excuses for every different thing, they can't all be, you know, honest. They can't all be true, because there's so many of them. It's like, well, how many excuses have you got? Every time there's another excuse. This day there's one, the next day there's another one, there's another one. They can't all be correct. There has to be some lying there. And you're right, if that's what you're thinking. So one of these things that they're saying, I think you'd be able to find out the truth about this very easily, actually. A little bit of research is all you really need to do. It might even just have to be on Google, or need to be on Google, I should say. And I think you'll find out the answer, because there's some kind of dates or times or something like that that doesn't match up, and I think you'll be able to find this information out somewhere. It might be something like, you know, you can see that they were online at this time, or you can see that they sent a text at this time and this date. Some kind of thing about dates and times. All you need to do is a little bit of research and you'll find out for yourself. But I think you know this anyway. This feels a bit insulting, actually. It feels like they're insulting your intelligence. Because if someone's making all these kinds of crazy excuses, and they're really obvious, and it really is an insult. It makes me angry, actually. I really hate people who do that to me, that tell me a lie and it's really obvious. And it's like, you're really insulting my intelligence here. So that's what I'm getting. It's making me angry. So I'm going to stop being angry. But do this research if you haven't done this already. It's something around a date or a time. And this just came into my mind. Again, it might be this. Have a look at texts. The time they were online doing different things, you'll find that maybe, you know, it might be like, well, they couldn't have been there and there at the same time, and this shows that they were there. It's something like that. So, but if you do this research and you do find out this thing in black and white in front of your face, it might be a little bit of a shock to you, because even if you know something in the back of your mind, seeing it actually there, seeing the evidence is always a shock. It always is. And I can see this big trumpet here. So just be prepared for a shock if you do that research, if you haven't done this already. But yeah, the judgment card can be about big life changes. It can be about changes in your ideas about someone or your opinions of someone. So, you know, if you do this research and you do have this right in front of you, it might just make you say, well, enough is enough. I'm going to throw my hands up like the people in this card and just move on. And I think you'll probably do that already, whether you do this kind of research or not. You'll just say, enough is enough. I'm exhausted. I've had enough. And you've come to that point in the Four of Swords. It looks like you might try again at another time. That's what I'm seeing here. And then if you do that, it's going to be like, right, that's the final thing. No more. I'm throwing my arms up in the air and I'm moving forward. So that's what I'm seeing there. And I think that's really what you should be doing. But I shouldn't tell you what to do. Okay, so the last card you have for your past is the Nine of Wands. So yeah, obviously moving forward, moving out of the old into the new. It's really hurtful. They've really insulted you. You know, and you're hurt for someone else. You're hurt for someone else as well, because you couldn't quite get this to work. Please don't blame yourself if you couldn't get this to work. You've done everything you could possibly do. I can see that here. So please don't blame yourself. All you can do is move forward now and move away from this. And, you know, look at this man. He's got this bandage around his head. He's really, really tired. and he's moving forwards because what's behind him is barren. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I'm just going to move that up so you can see. So if you look just behind him, just where he's standing, just behind him where the wands are, there are all these mountains here, and there's no growth on them. There's no grass, there's no trees, there's nothing. So what's behind him is barren. So it's like there's nothing more here. I have to move forward. And there's no life where there's lies. There's no life where there's lies. So that's what I'm seeing in that card. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the Knight of Cups. So I'm getting a much more positive feeling around this card. Really, really nice card. I'm so happy to have this here because you've got all this really stressful stuff here in this reading. This is a really romantic card. It can be a little bit too good to be true sometimes. This is a knight in shining armor, so it can be a little bit of a Disney fantasy sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. I don't think that's what's here though. But yeah, I'm just looking at the wings on this knight's helmet, and wings can be all about messages, flying through the sky to someone. So I think there is a message here. It hasn't come to you yet. I'm getting this is what I'm seeing. I'm getting these words, business with pleasure, or mixing business with pleasure. So it might be that this is around your workplace. Yeah, I think someone in your work is really interested in you, and they haven't sent you this message yet. Yeah, they haven't said anything yet, because if you look at this knight, he's coming up to this river, he's coming up to the water where the emotion is, where the love is. But he's holding back. He's not quite there yet. So they want to talk to you, they want to progress, they want to do something, but they're not quite ready to do that yet. So that's what I'm getting there. Excuse me, my throat's really sore, so I'm trying not to cough. That's why I keep pausing. I think I'm okay now. So yeah, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. There might be something that's coming up through work. So it's something that's outside of the normal workplace. So it might be that you're outside for some reason, or in another building. It might be a social thing around work, but I think they're probably going to use this kind of different thing, this atmosphere, or whatever this is, this whatever it is, to come and talk to you. So if you know about some kind of work thing that's coming up, something that's outside of your normal workplace, work hours, or whatever it is, just be ready for that. It might be a formal thing, it might be a social thing outside of work, because look at how this knight's all dressed up, he's all ready to go, he's all beautifully groomed and everything. So it might be that. But yeah, I think this person's a little bit creative. Yeah, they think in a really different way. I'm seeing that. They're a little bit shy. I've got that as well. So that might give you an idea of who this is. I don't think you know them all that well. I think you've probably spoken to them, but you don't know them all that well. You haven't had lots of deep conversations or anything. I am getting a really good feeling around this, actually. And it's a young energy as well, so they might be younger than you. So that might give you a clue. And I think they are definitely going to come and talk to you at some time. And I have to say, it does feel extremely positive, really, really positive, and totally different to this axe that I'm seeing here, or this person, whoever this is that's telling you these lies. This is a completely different kind of person that I'm seeing here. Okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Ten of Wands, yes. Okay, so yeah, I think there's still some kind of battle or some kind of stress going on here. Big burden, big problem, and the big burden I can see in this whole reading is this person in the Four of Swords. So I think they're still around you. I think they're talking to you. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I don't think you're still trying to get them to do this thing. I'm not seeing that. I think you've both moved on from that. You've had to, because you just weren't getting anywhere. So yeah, again, I think there might be some communication going on between you. Now, there's this feeling of guilt here. I'm getting this feeling of guilt. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if this is going to make sense or not. I'm getting this kind of a conversation. It feels a bit like, I'll give you an example. It's like, oh, poor me. It's so sad. You might not hear from me ever again because this is the last chance you've got to talk to me. I'm not well. I'm so sick. I've got this problem. It's really terrible. All that kind of thing. It's kind of like this, oh, please feel for me. Please feel sorry for me. That's the kind of talk I'm getting here. And it's coming from them. Yeah, really, really strange, but that's what I'm getting. So they might be trying to make people feel a little bit guilty, because I was getting this guilt around this. Because there's this kind of, oh, poor me. Oh, it's like the poor man on this card. He's got this big, big burden. Now, it might be that they're saying this to you, but they might be saying it to someone else as well, because I'm seeing this other person here. So it might be that. It might be that they're trying to give off this impression that there's something wrong with them. Maybe they're saying they're not well or something like that. I'm seeing that might be a big possibility here. Now, just be careful. If you know what this is all about, just be really, really careful. Because on the one hand, if there's something wrong, obviously that's not a good thing. If they're ill or they're sick or there's something seriously wrong or there's a big, big problem, obviously that's really terrible. But this is someone who's not very honest. I keep on seeing that. And you've got the Seven of Cups here as well, which can be about confusion. Sometimes it can be about deliberate confusion, keeping someone in the dark, making them confused on purpose, like this man. I'm going to lift this up so you can see this man. So he's kept in the dark. There's all this confusion in front of him. So this might be what they're trying to do to you, because there's all this dishonesty here. So I'm going to talk about this card here as well. I'm going to talk about the Seven of Cups here. So, okay, I don't want to come right out and say, oh, they're lying, especially when it comes to someone's health. And I think that might be what they're saying. They might be saying, oh, I'm really ill. Oh, it's terrible. I have to have tests. It might be all this kind of thing. Or I've got this terrible problem. But I keep on seeing this dishonesty around them. I keep on seeing this. And there's this, having to do research, find things out. The other thing that's really standing out to me here is, this is this big thing that's setting all these alarm bells. It's the timing of this. It's the timing. Because you've walked away. That's really clear. It's in the Nine of Wands. You've walked away. And when you've walked away, that's when they're starting this up again. So when you've walked away, they're coming back. So all I'm saying is, just keep one eye opened. Be careful of them trying to rope you back in again, back into this relationship again. Because it just feels like when you walk away, they pop up again and they start saying, oh, I'm not well. Oh, this is wrong. Why didn't they say this before? Why are they saying this now? So that's the kind of thing you've got to ask yourself. It just seems a little bit suspect to me. So just watch out for that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to someone, because this is a message someone needs to hear. Someone's trying to give them a certain impression. Okay, so the first card you have your futures, the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, this has to be a message. This has to be a message reminding you of how far you've come without this person. This woman's walked away. She's walked away from a home that she's had with someone, whether it's a family home. It looks like a relationship, because that's what this is all about. If you look on the horizon, just on the horizon of this card, you'll see this house. It's just on the right-hand side, and she's got her back to it. So you've turned your back on them. And what this feels like is, it feels like they want you to turn back around again and face them. That's what I'm seeing there. Now, all this might be true. They might be sick, or they might have this big problem, or whatever this is. But if that's the case, you can feel for them, you can do whatever you want for them without going back into this relationship with them. So again, you're a lot happier. You're definitely a lot less exhausted being on your own. Look at how happy this woman is. And the other thing is, you've already made a decision about this. That's what this card's about as well. These two trees on the horizon, they represent the Garden of Eden, which is all about decisions. And you've already made this decision. It's behind you. The two trees are behind the woman. So you've made the decision, you put it all behind you, and they're trying to get you to turn back around again, if this all resonates with you. And again, you've got these two cards under the Nine of Pentacles. They're like poor me cards. So I'm going to talk about them right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift these two cards up so you can see them really, really well. So yeah, poor me. So that's what the Five of Pentacles is about. It's like, you know, the Five of Pentacles is first. This sequence is really important. So the Five of Pentacles is first. And, you know, the Five of Cups is underneath. So with the Five of Pentacles, these two people are saying, oh, I'm out in the cold, please let me in. I've got this problem, I've got this, I've got that. The reason why they're saying this, the reason why this person's saying this to you is because of the Five of Cups. Now, I don't want to say this is definite, but this is what this feels like to me. Someone saying, I'm not well, or I've got this big problem, or I've got this, or I've got that, because they want you to come back into this relationship. They want you back to where you were. They want you to come back over this bridge that's in this card. Now, again, I'm not saying ignore someone who's not well. Of course, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes wide open. That's all I'm saying.